Anya?
Following up from Tuesday, do you foresee any personnel changes on the offensive line? And with that, this deep in the season, how much can you really affect change on that unit 7 games in?
Well, you can definitely we can definitely still get a lot better. We have some options. We've looked at a couple of different lineups this week. Still got a couple days here to go before game time, so we'll make that decision. But I think, like I said the other day, we've playing some of the different lineups that we did early in the year, playing different people has its benefits. And I think here in the second half of the season, we'll see that in terms of we have had different guys play, we've had different guys rep, and feel like we have some options. We went through this a little bit last year too, and had some guys out, had some different lineups. Voorhees was out a little bit during some of that time. Obviously, we lost Brett at the end. Dedich was out for some time last year, and so Haskins was out some time. So we're used to it. Yeah, and can we get better and play better? Of course we can. We've had some stretches this year on the offensive line where we played better than we did at any point last year, and so and we've been kind of like the rest of the offense. We've been really close to playing really good, and there's a lot of good. You just don't see it yet because we haven't put it together all 11, and that's obviously our challenge and what we got to do a lot better job of that. And we did it pretty well early in the year, and played really well in some of those games. Played really well in Stanford. Played really well against Arizona State. Played really well in the first half and kind of first 3 quarters of Colorado. So like we've done it, but we got to go do it against a good group here this week, and we do feel like we've got some options in terms of the lineup, and we'll make a decision going into the game, and then if it's going good, we'll stick with it. If not, we feel like we have some different combinations that we can go to.
Thank you.
Antonio?
Hey, Lincoln. Caleb's pinky finger on his throwing hand has been pretty taped up the past 2 games. Is that something that's been impacting him at all?
No, he got it. He got it hit. I can't remember. It's been a few games ago. It was just been a little bit sore, kind of tender, but not hasn't affected him, hasn't affected play. So no, just more of a I don't know, kind of a nagging nuisance, but not a hindrance to play.
Ryan Karchi?
Hey, Lincoln, I know you said Max is questionable to play this week, but at safety, seems like Zion has earned some reps here and there. Where has he made the biggest leaps in progress, and how close is he to really breaking through to a much bigger role?
Yeah, I think he's right there. We were obviously disappointed when the 2 guys got dinged last week, but it was exciting to see Zion get his opportunity, and that's a lot of times how these things happen. Where somebody gets hurt and a young guy gets opportunity and he's ready to seize it, and he goes in and plays well. And Zion played very well in the game. He was aggressive. He tackled well. He did a really nice job with communication. That's probably. I think he's really started to gain confidence back physically from the injury. But I would say the biggest jump for him has been the understanding of our defense. Calls, checks, alignments. Those safeties are at times, responsible for a good amount of that. And he give the kid credit. He invested himself during last year while he was rehabilitating from the injury. He's very detail oriented, very consistent in his work ethic, and it's been cool to see him come about. And he has obvious talent. I mean, he's certainly one of the most talented DBs that we have in the room. So it's been fun to see the play come along, and I think gained a lot of confidence from how he came in and played last week. And yeah, I foresee him having a big role from here on out.
Dukney?
Hey, Lincoln, last couple weeks you've said that the team hasn't really played up to its own standard during games, but how have you felt about the team's just preparation and practice? Have you thought about any adjustments, or kind of is there something else you need to see in terms of practice that will hopefully lead to better performances in games, more consistent performances in games?
Yeah, I think it's there's not a lot of probably changing fully what we do, like a wholesale change. I mean, there's been a few tweaks to the schedule that we've done. We've created a few more things in terms of a little bit more competitive work, even though it's, you know, kind of, we're in the middle of a pretty heavy stretch here. And that's been very positive this week. I mean, I feel like the guys have prepared well. We had a good week of practice last week. Like, the guys were excited to play, excited to prepare. I could look back on the Arizona game and say, you know, was it fair to say that we were maybe asleep at the wheel a little bit? And not, practice wasn't terrible, but it wasn't exceptional either that week. We practiced very well last week. Our guys were ready to play. Team was ready to play. Again, you can be as ready to play as you want to play. You lose a turnover battle 5-0. I mean, that's what you're going to get. So I don't think that had anything to do with the lack of preparation or our guys being ready. But you gotta carry it over, and against good teams. And I know we talked about on the road, but against good teams, period. Like, you're going to get your chances, and you got to make your plays. Like, I mean, you know, Notre Dame last week, you know, we gave them some opportunities with mistakes, and they made us pay for it. They you know, they caught the balls. They made the play. They caught the interceptions. They made the plays when we made mistakes. They also made mistakes, and we had some wide windows open to really hurt them, and we didn't quite capitalize on those. And again, when it's two good teams going at it, that's typically what it comes down to, right? Who can make the least mistakes, and then who can make the other team pay for it when they make those mistakes. So, yeah, to answer your question, the team is very, very hungry, very competitive right now. We have practiced our tail off this week. I think we've emphasized a few key points kind of internally that I'll keep there that I think are really important for us going forward. But yeah, I mean, we've got to carry over what we're doing on the practice field and go turn it loose and go cut it loose and just play. And that, I think, is a bigger issue for us right now than maybe the preparation, if that makes sense.
Sure. Thank you.
Luca?
Hey, Lincoln. You mentioned on Tuesday, you know, you didn't feel like kind of the receivers had any issue separating and guys were open, you know, against Notre Dame. And Caleb was just talking about, you know, he doesn't think he's played a game like that in college. He mentioned before the year that there are still things that, you know, he doesn't walk on water yet. There's still things that he has to improve upon. And, you know, just going against Utah, I mean, really tough front. What do you need to see from him, you know, just in terms of being a little bit more consistent, or just his play on Saturday?
Just settle in and be himself. That's that. You know, he's played he's played 2 games against these guys. He's played 2 really good games against these guys. And they are tough defense, but you know, they're very good at what they do, but so are we. So it'll be a fun matchup. I'm excited for him. He and his career, and then all the time I've had him, he's you know, you're gonna, when you play this level, you're not gonna, you know, throw 6 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions every single game. Like, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna have some tough moments that don't go your way, and it's more about your response. And throughout his career, he's always responded when he wasn't at his best. And so he'll be very ready to play this game. He needs to play within himself and go do what he does best. And we need to play great on the other 10 positions and everywhere else across the field. And that's the plan.
We're going to wrap it up with these last 4. So, Jack?
Yeah, like I was going to ask about how you feel like the guys have carried over the edge you've said they've had in practice to the games, but I feel like you kind of just addressed that. Is that something that you yourself can address as a coach, or is that something that really has to be instilled by the player leaders that you guys have?
It's everybody. It's all hands on deck approach there. You know, that comes certainly that comes from leadership. It comes from player leadership. It comes from the guys you recruit. It comes from comes from the culture you develop. And yeah, I mean, that's yeah, everybody has a responsibility in that, whether you're the one leading the charge or you're one of the ones that's you know, that's kind of following along. And that's, you have to have it. You have to have it. That's especially when you've had some adversity or when some things haven't gone your way. That's the most important time, right? That's when it really shows. And so I think this, you know, you don't make the jump that we've made as a program in the last year and a half without it. It simply, you know, it simply would not look like what it has in the last year and a half. But we know there's still more left out there, and there's still more to go in that regard. And everybody here internally is pushing like hell every day to make it happen.
Shotgun.
Hey, Lincoln, I know the ball was tipped on that second interception, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like there was a miscommunication, or Caleb and Dorian kind of weren't on the same page as far as that crossing route. Why does it seem like those two still haven't been able to fully get in sync? It feels like Dorian's a weapon you guys haven't really been able to unlock quite yet.
Yeah, we've been close. We haven't found him a few times. You know, where he's been good. We've had a couple of times where you know, it's fair to say that they haven't been completely on the same page. Dorian's had a really good week of practice this week. He's very hungry to go play better. And you know, and Dorian knows, like, Dorian's got to play better to be on the field more, to create more opportunities too. And you know, he's competing with you know, with a couple of those other outside guys that have done well for us. You know, Mike Jackson's really come on and played well last couple of weeks. And so, you know, some of it is, you know, you got to continually put yourself on the field and assert that you're the guy to go out there and make the plays. And then yeah, that one directly was just a mistake by Caleb. That we've had some others where we weren't completely on the same page. But that one directly was a mistake by the quarterback. So but yeah, Dorian's a good weapon. He's a really good player. Feel like he's very close to breaking through because he does a lot of things that excite you, but like all of us, he's fighting a consistency battle, and he's got to get more consistent, as does obviously Caleb and the rest of the offense.
Thank you.
Antonio.
Hey, Lincoln, Josh Henson was praising Killian O'Connor yesterday for the way he's practiced. That's a walk-on who's kind of risen to a pretty important role for you guys, came in against Arizona in a pinch. How has he kind of developed into what he's turned out to be for you guys?
Yeah, he's a tough ass kid, man. He works hard. He has a great approach. He's a fighter. He's gotten a lot of reps at center over the last few years, so last year and a half. So he's really learned our stuff well. He's smart. He's taken advantage of being able to get a lot of scout team reps this year, a lot of the reps with the offense this year, and yeah, he's just turned himself into a really good, solid player that I do think is going to get better and better, and absolutely has a future here. So yeah, there was really no panic on our sideline when he had to go in a couple of weeks ago and did well. And I think he's asserted himself as a guy that we have a lot of trust in, and that if the opportunity arises for him to go in and play, that he'll do it well, and that we won't miss a beat in terms of the operation, which is, you know, for that center, that's the most important job, is can you keep the unit moving? And he has been a guy that we've developed a lot of confidence in, and I don't think he's certainly even near a ceiling yet. So he's got a bright future here, and certainly can help us right now, as he has been.
And we'll wrap it up with Fredo.
Hey there, Coach. You know, you started off the season winning 6 straight games, you know, and you went into South Bend, and, you know, you guys faced a tough loss there. How do you keep your team motivated and, you know, feeling positive heading into this tough game against Utah this weekend?
Oh, I mean, you gotta get past the disappointment of not winning. I mean, you gotta get past that first. I mean, that was the first thing, and then you gotta look at reality, and reality is you're undefeated in the best conference probably in college football right now, you know, which is, you know, pretty good shape, and with some cool opportunities ahead, with, you know, starting right here with a really good Utah team and program that, like I said, we know very well, and, you know, we understand the importance this game, the opportunity that this game is. So yeah, the big deal is don't let not playing well last week, get you twice, is rebound, is respond, and that's what champions do. And so it's been our mindset from the second that game was over, the locker room there all the way through this week is to get back to playing our brand of football and playing ball the way that we know we can. And these are, if you're a true competitor, these are the times you want, right? When people count you out or, people think, this or that. And I remind them, we went through the same thing last year. We sat here last year after the first Utah game and everybody thought our season was over and everybody thought, well, you can't do this and can't do that. And it's just, you just got to hang in there. I've been in this long enough to see it, and the teams that hang in there and keep getting better and keep improving always have a shot in the end. And we're going to have our shot. I mean, we're in tremendous position, but we got to go. Main thing for us right now is go take advantage of it and go play a lot better brand of ball. And that's what we're looking forward to doing this Saturday.